Well, hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I just finished watching Sanju with that Kapoor kid. How do I want to start this? Because I got a lot of thoughts on this film. I think let's start with this. Let's start with the fact that if I didn't know who Sunil Dutt was, Sanjay Dutt, Nargis, if I didn't know who these people were and didn't know anything about their stories, and and I watched this film, and I had no idea about Indian politics or history, the Mumbai. I would say that this was probably one of the best films that I've ever seen, best Indian films I've ever seen. I laughed, I cried, I was amazed at how good the Kapoor kid pulled this off. He looked like him, slightly resembled him. He had his mannerisms down. I thought this was a huge home run for the Kapoor kid, and I also think it should serve as a wake-up call to him, because I think the Kapoor kid walks a line similar to what Sanju did, of dabbling in good and evil, right and wrong. We all know how he messed it up with Deepika, right? That he was a dirtbag with Deepika, which is unfortunate. Lucky for Ranveer Singh, he's the benefactor of that, but still, I thought about that. This film that we see is about Sanju, the child of Nargis, and I think Nargis is number one. She is my favorite Indian actress, probably my favorite actress. Period. I've seen 4 or 5 of her films. I'm always struck at how good she acts, how beautiful she was. She was just like amazing. She was a truly amazing character. I look at her very much how the warrior queen looks at Amitabh Bachchan. Nargis would be my favorite, but unfortunately Nargis is no longer with us. She if you ever see the movie Mother India, her son, is it Bijou, who is very naughty, is her husband. They're married, even though she was having ongoing affairs with other actors in the Bollywood film industry, Kapoor primarily. And here comes their child, Sanju, right? And he very much is like Bijou, I thought. I mean, watching his life unfold reminded me of that character, Bijou. And we see him kind of grow up underneath the shadow of Indian acting royalty. He gets ushered into the film industry. Dad is directing a film and puts him in. It was Rocky. Never seen Rocky, and we see him kind of very shy and awkward and not sure what to do. And Dad's a legend. Everybody loves Dad, and he in this is causing a problem in his life of this. My dad is not relatable. I'm having a hard time. I'm very uncomfortable doing this, and he comes across a guy that he refers to as God, who we find out is a drug dealer, not his buddy, just a drug dealer, just a pusher, and wanting to get him hooked on drugs so he can make money. And while Sanju thinks that God is doing drugs with him, he's really not. He's just eating sugar and pretending to be high and stupid and all this stuff just to make money. But that comes out later. So we see his life kind of unfold, and let me just start from the beginning. At the film, we see him wanting an autobiography written about him, and he hires somebody whose book is over the top, ridiculous, comparing him to Gandhi and whatnot. And he fires them, and he wants a real autobiography written. And they start to get this reporter involved to write this book, and she's reluctant because he's a dirtbag. Right? She's reluctant to it. And so what ends up happening is there's a series of interviews between her and him where maybe she confronts him with a story or a headline, and he gives a response. And this then is given to us in flashbacks to see the life of Sanju, to see the life of this guy, this actor. So we saw early on with Rocky, right? We saw him with the drugs. In this drug habit becomes even fierce and more ferocious. He becomes an addict. and he can't get off the drugs. And we see him ruining his life, left and right, ruining his life. Going to marry Ruby, oh, he's too high to even remember to show up to the thing, right? To the consulate to get married, to the judge. And you can see that his life is deteriorating. And he's made a friend. He's made a friend, an Indian, a Desi, who is living in America. And this friend was fans of Nargis. And that's kind of how their friendship became, because he had great respect for Nargis. And they get this friendship, but it's Sanju doesn't know how to be a friend, doesn't know what it means. He does things like testing out his best friend's girls to see if they're loyal and faithful. And, oh, well, I slept with them. Just not a good idea. So we have that aspect of his life, the drug and the overcoming of the drug thing. We see him then get mixed up with organized crime. Right, he's mixed up with mobsters and dons, and has to free himself from there. Then we see him with the Mumbai bombing and the gun charge and the terrorist charge, and how he was labeled a terrorist, and he had to overcome that. So this was a lot of overcoming obstacles in his life, the drugs, the crime, the terrorism, all these different things that he was faced with. He was in prison multiple times, not in a very comfortable prison, like a prison. So we see these things. And so if I didn't know any of this stuff about him, I would say this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like I said, I was laughing out loud at certain scenes. I was crying. I just thought this thing was incredible. I thought Kapoor... This is one of the finest acting jobs I've ever seen anybody do, was Kapoor's portrayal of him. And I liked how when we were in the drug use phase of his life, how the graphics they put up to kind of give you the sense of hallucinating and not able to tell what is real, what is not. Am I hallucinating? Is this real? And I thought the editing was just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. However, I know who he is. I know the who his parents are. I know a little bit about India. I know a little bit about the Mumbai attacks. And this is what I would say. They kind of, the problem I had with the film is they kind of whitewashed everything and made it look like Sanju was just a victim of circumstance. That this poor boy kind of, at every turn, just unfortunately made the wrong decision. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, no, it's terrible. And I'm going to say birds of a feather flock together. He's a villain. He's a villain in life. And, you're hanging out with drug dealers. You're doing drugs. You are hanging out with radicals. You are buying weapons from radicals. You are connected to people who are connected to the bombings. You are tied to organized crime. These aren't just things that you just happen to... It's not like I woke up and went to work and forgot to turn off the coffee maker, or I left lights on, right? That's not what it is. These are things that you have to really kind of move through moral roadblocks to get to embrace and take in, if that makes any sense. And so I thought it was a little far-fetched to paint him as this victim. And I saw a lot of comments in there. I put it in the community section that I was watching it, and a lot of people saying that it was anti-Hindu. And I didn't pick any of that up. Again, I'm not Hindu, so I don't know necessarily what you guys were referring to. Is it maybe perhaps when we had the mosque that was knocked down, and they made a point to say, that Nargis was Muslim and she married Dutt, who was Hindu, and we can't have that. I mean, I don't know if that was what it was referring to. And I don't know necessarily if that was anti-Hindu, if it really happened. Now, if it never really happened, then yeah, I can see your point there. But I don't know. I have no idea. This movie I would put in my top 100. It was a compelling film, but again, Dutt is he's no innocent person who just stumbled into these things. And there was a line in the movie where he is complaining about the scripts he's getting, about how Amir and SRK get all the good stuff and they leave me with crap. I thought that was funny. But Dutt is not that good of an actor. I'm just going to say, I think Kapoor was way better as Dutt is in Dutt. I've seen Dutt in films, and I don't care for him. I don't know. He doesn't move the meter for me at all. He's just not my cup of tea. I think, there are male actors who are way better looking than him, way better actors, play tough guys better, play funny parts better, do all these different things better. And, but this was a great film. This was truly a great film. Really, really enjoyed it. Thought it was a great film. Enjoyed it. I'll buy the DVD at some point in time. And just, I like the style of the film. I like the flashbacks. I like digging into it. I like seeing some of the things. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame because, Nargis was just so incredible. You had every opportunity to live a charmed life, and you chose against it at every turn, which is unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Great film. Really enjoyed the film. Really did. And I think probably the next movie review, I'll be with the Warrior Queen, and we're going to do Queen. And I think we're going to do Stree. I got my hands on Stree, which looks pretty good. I'll catch you guys later. Peace and much love.